Hey, how are y'all doing? Today is January 11th, 2024. This is Snyder Inc. I'm Toby Snyder. I wanted to put this out here real quick and do this video very especially. This is directly to my family. I wanted to apologize to y'all. I have been a screw up for a huge part of my life, and drug addiction took everything from me. I lost my kids, 10, 15, 18 years ago, due to addiction. And I've always regretted that I never did better with them. I also want to thank my mother, who, as time has progressed, and she's helped me try to deal with my life and my bipolarness, my addiction, and everything else. And she's always been very supportive of me. Up until last year, when I purchased a car, and the car had, there were a lot of issues with the car. But the thing is, I understand her point of view on a financial end. My thing is, like, once I lost that car, everything fell apart for me. My life completely imploded to a point that I asked my wife to leave the state with me. We started DoorDash across the country. We came here. We're doing stuff. Me and my family have not really spoken since I've left Texas. I think Texas is an entirely nut show there. My memories of Texas are being addicted on drugs, getting shot, losing everything I had, and continually humiliating my family. For all those reasons, I'm sorry. For all those reasons, I don't reach out anymore. Don't try to do anything. Whatever occurs to me, and I do not ask them or communicate with them anymore, because they have tried so hard. Addiction and recovery is such an evil and hard battle. It is so hard for anybody to tell when somebody's really in their addiction, or they're conning you, or they're playing you, or they're doing so many different things, and you're trying to stay one step ahead. And that's the whole thing with addiction. And that's part of my recovery story. Before this 2023, I tried to have a trailer. I stayed sober as long as I could. I had a hiccup. Things went haywire like always. But as soon as somebody gets caught in the game, they spiral in the circle, and they really believe that the other people don't see it. And if you're trying to get sober and you haven't gotten sober, and you're just watching this because you stumbled across it, I cannot express to you how much the ability to step outside yourself and learn some new things to become a better individual. I have, in the pursuit of trying to get off drugs, I have learned how to become a professional massage therapist. I have learned how to work on computers, learned how to write program pages. I've learned how to do social media that I'm doing now. All of it is an extreme amount of effort, an extreme amount of money, for my family specifically, that they invested in me. My bipolarness, which was never really addressed, we always addressed my drug addiction, when in reality my drug addiction was a very serious part of my bipolarness. My bipolarness really stemmed from the fact that I have never ever felt like I've really had a home. I've always been I've never been where it's been my home. My family has tried to help me with this, and I failed them miserably at that every single time I've done it. But the thing that changes from, that does not ever change, is no matter my highs or my lows or my addictions or my clean or whatever, I've always helped people. I try to help when I'm in my addiction. I've always tried to help the people that are in addictions. When I have gotten sober, I always try to help the people that are around me, which are generally lower income people. And I try to be able to connect dots and do things for them and assist them in many different ways. I've always been extremely good at that. I've always been extremely good at feeding people. And anybody in my family will tell you I'm a master cook. And they never saw the better part of the things that they instilled in me. So I want to reach out and say, Mom, thank you for all the money you've invested in me and all the time you invested in me. Even though, in the end, we don't speak. And a lot of that is because, to me, I feel that all you see is a failure. And I don't want to be that person. I want to be somebody grander than a failure. I have learned, not failed, I have learned throughout many different things. But the one thing you cannot do, no matter what, is do drugs and have a normal life. That does not exist. If you do methamphetamines, you do cocaine, you do crack, you do heroin, you do fentanyl, you do LSD, you do ecstasy, you huff paint, you do Freon, you do any of those stuff, it's going to dramatically affect your life. If you drink a large amount of hard alcohol, all of that stuff affects your life in ways that you and your addiction are so, my addiction was so ignorant to the fact that, you mean that soda doesn't have water in it? It's a liquid. There's a whole bunch of different things. There's a lot of ignorance that goes along with being an addiction, and you can't ever see that. And because of all of those things, I want to apologize to my family. Not making an excuse, not saying anything other than, I'm sorry for being an addict. I'm sorry that y'all spent all y'all's money on me. I'm sorry that I failed y'all in all the ways that I may have failed y'all. I apologize. I hope that in the time that comes, you'll be able to see by my actions and not by my words that the things that I do are true in heart and are true in the spirit of trying to help another human being be a better human being. I am in a state right now where I'm level. I'm not at a manic point, I'm not at a depressed point. I don't know how long that'll last. Like I said, I'm documenting it all so that we can figure it out. But these are the first steps. I need to apologize to y'all first. Apologize to my children for failing them with my addiction and for falling out of their life and just not being a better father and human being to them because I was nothing but an addict. And I'm sorry. Mom, I'm sorry for all the drama I put you through. Glenn, my dad, you're the greatest man on the planet I've ever met. And I will always idealize you more than anybody that will ever exist. Thank you for being the man you are, because you showed me a lot growing up. Thank you. There's a whole bunch of our family out there, my brother and cousins, and Arthur and Alfred, all of them. But most of them, their input into my life wasn't anything significant enough for me to really get into any of it. My children, my mother, and Glenn My father is the ones I want to thank. My father, who was an ex-junkie convict who shot himself in the head because he couldn't handle the fact that his life was in the toilet, chose suicide. He shot himself on my 13th birthday, and it always left a mark of mental illness within me because my father at the age of 32 took his life. So I have already done better than he could have ever done just because I've survived to being 54 years old, or almost 54. This year I'll be 54. If you're... I did the whole as bad as it gets drug addiction. And when finally climbed out, spend some time sober. Let the chemicals in your brain, level out a lot. Things seem a lot more ready to live again. Pandemic, not pandemic, crazy politics, whatever. I urge you, if you're having drug addiction problems, get help. Everybody else, thank you for your time, and to everybody I love, I'm sorry for the things that I did. I hope the future will bring things you can be proud of me for doing.